Welcome back, everybody. We're diving into some really fascinating AI projects this time around. You guys have sent in a ton of stuff, Reddit threads and tweets, and even things from Discord. So much to keep up with these days. We're going to cut through the noise, though, and help you find the real gems. Projects with serious social impact. That's what you want to hear about,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
We're going to figure out which of these new models are actually going to make a difference.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time to be following AI development right now. We're kind of seeing a shift beyond just bigger and faster models.
Okay.
There's a real growing emphasis on accessibility,
Right.
and that's where the real potential for social impact lies, I think.
We'll unpack that. So first up,
Yeah.
Falcon 3.
Yeah.
It's open source, trained on a massive 14 trillion tokens. The benchmarks are looking great. People are excited.
Yeah. There's a lot to be impressed by with Falcon 3, especially the open source nature of it. But it's important to note there are some licensing concerns. That rug pull clause that everyone on Reddit is talking about, that could limit its use in certain regions. So it's not a perfect solution for everyone.
Yeah, the licensing issue is definitely a big consideration. And I also saw some discussion on Reddit about concerns regarding its Arabic language support, or lack thereof. Speaking of open source, we've got to talk about 5.4. This one really caught my eye because it outperformed GPT-4 on STEM questions. But it's significantly smaller, only 14 billion parameters. Sizes and everything right.
Right.
What's the secret sauce here?
Well, 5.4's success really comes down to innovative training techniques and data selection.
Yeah.
What's particularly interesting is its use of synthetic data. So
Right.
instead of relying solely on real-world data, they actually used artificially generated data, which can be incredibly useful for training these AI models.
So synthetic data. That's interesting. What are the broader implications of that? It almost sounds like a shortcut.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it raises some fascinating questions about the future of AI development. Could this lead to more efficient and accessible models, particularly for researchers who might not have access to these massive data sets? Or powerful computing resources?
Right.
5.4's approach could potentially level the playing field.
I remember seeing some chatter on the ARC-AGI2 Discord about 5.4 being able to solve logic riddles, too.
Yeah.
It sounds like a party trick. But is there more to it than that?
Yeah, it might seem trivial, but its success with riddles actually hints at something deeper, a capacity for logical reasoning.
Okay.
And this could have implications beyond just games. Imagine the possibilities for scientific discovery, automated reasoning systems, other fields where logic is paramount.
Okay, so we've talked about open source accessibility with Falcon 3 and 5.4. But what about projects that empower creators? That's where things get really interesting for me.
Absolutely. When we put these AI tools in the hands of creators, it opens up a world of possibilities. It's about democratizing that creative process.
And a project that is definitely making waves in that space is Google Veo. It won that Stake-Off challenge against other video AI generators by a huge margin. Did you see those videos?
I did.
I mean, the way it handled those close-up shots of the knife cutting through the steak, incredibly realistic. I was genuinely impressed.
What's really fascinating about Veo is its ability to render these subtle details with such realism. It's not just about producing a video. It's about capturing those nuances that make it look truly authentic, and that opens up a lot of really exciting possibilities.
Exactly. Imagine if anyone, anywhere, could create stunning, high-quality videos without needing a Hollywood budget. It could be a game changer for education, storytelling, even small businesses.
Absolutely. It could truly democratize video production and empower creators in ways that we haven't even fully imagined yet.
And speaking of empowering creators, we have to talk about Notebook LM. People are already using it to make podcasts in multiple languages. That just blew my mind.
It's a fantastic example of how AI can break down these language barriers. Imagine a world where educational content, news stories, all readily available to anyone regardless of what language they speak. That's the kind of impact we're talking about.
What I find really cool is how it seamlessly integrates into your workflow. You'd have a conversation with your notes, ask it to summarize key points, even generate different creative text formats. Have you experimented with it all?
I have. And it is quite impressive. But it is important to note that while Notebook LM is making strides, there are still some limitations. The audio summaries are currently only available in English, for example.
That's true. It's still early days. But it's exciting to see how these tools are evolving and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Okay, we've talked about open source models and tools that empower creators. But how about making AI itself more accessible? Enter the NVIDIA Jetson Orin Nano Super Kit. Now this one's a steal. At just $249. Yeah, it might be affordable, but don't underestimate its power. This little kit packs a punch with its ability to handle a significant increase in neural operations. Essentially, it's like your brain performing millions of calculations per second. That's what those neural operations are for AI. It's a fantastic tool for anyone looking to experiment with AI.
I can already picture people building their own robots, developing local AI applications. The possibilities seem endless with a tool like this.
And it's not just speculation. There's been a lot of buzz around using this kit for local LLM deployment. Imagine having large language models like the ones we've discussed earlier, running directly on your device, not in some far-off data center. We're talking about examples with AGX, Orin, even the Raspberry Pi 5. It hints at a future where we're moving beyond relying solely on these cloud-based AI solutions.
So you're saying we could have AI processing happening locally on devices like a Raspberry Pi?
Yeah.
That opens up a whole new world of possibilities, especially for people in areas with limited internet access.
Yeah, exactly. The potential applications are vast, particularly when we consider bringing AI to the edge, closer to where it's needed most.
Okay, this is all fascinating stuff. We've covered some seriously impressive projects, from massive open source models to tools that empower creators, and even affordable kits that put AI power directly in our hands.
And what's so compelling is that all of these projects share a common thread, a focus on accessibility and real-world impact. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we use it to make a difference.
Absolutely. It feels like we're on the cusp of a new era of AI, where it's not just a cool tech buzzword, but a force for positive change.
It's true. And what we're seeing today is just a glimpse into the future of socially impactful AI. The question is, how will we harness this power responsibly?
That is the big question, isn't it? What happens when these powerful AI tools become readily available to everyone?
It's a question worth pondering. And it leads us to a crucial aspect of this conversation, the social impact and potential consequences of widespread AI adoption. That's something we'll delve into further as we continue our deep dive. It's a fascinating landscape, isn't it? The pace of innovation is incredible, and the potential for AI to address these societal challenges is really inspiring.
You mentioned the idea of AI moving beyond the cloud. We touched on that briefly with the Jetson kit and local LLM deployment, but there's definitely more to unpack there. What exactly does it mean to bring AI to the edge?
Essentially, it means shifting AI processing from centralized data centers to devices at the edge of the network. Think smartphones, wearables, even sensors embedded in everyday objects.
So instead of relying on a massive brain in the cloud,
Yeah.
we're talking about giving devices their own mini brains to handle AI tasks locally.
That's a great analogy, and there are some compelling reasons for this shift.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are the advantages of running AI on the edge?
Well, one major advantage is reduced latency. Since processing happens locally, there's no need to send data back and forth to the cloud, which is crucial for applications that require real-time responses, like robotics or self-driving cars.
Makes sense. No one wants a laggy robot surgeon or a self-driving car that takes forever to react.
Exactly. Another benefit is enhanced privacy and security. Keeping data processing local reduces the need to transmit sensitive information over the internet, minimizing the risk of breaches or unauthorized access.
That's a huge consideration, especially as we become increasingly reliant on AI for everything from healthcare to financial transactions. I definitely wouldn't want my medical data floating around in the cloud.
Precisely. And let's not forget about the potential for increased accessibility. Edge AI can be a game changer for regions with limited or unreliable internet connectivity, empowering communities that might otherwise be excluded from the benefits of AI.
It's like opening up a whole new world of possibilities for education, healthcare, and economic development in those areas. I'm already picturing remote villages with AI-powered medical diagnostics or schools with personalized learning tools, all without needing super-fast internet connections.
That's the vision, and we're already starting to see these applications emerge. There are initiatives using Edge AI for wildlife conservation, for instance, monitoring endangered species in remote locations where internet access is limited.
Wow, that's amazing. So what are some of the key technologies that are making this shift towards Edge AI possible?
One crucial factor is the development of more efficient and compact AI models. That can run on devices with limited processing power and memory. Think of it as squeezing all that AI intelligence into a tiny package.
Okay, so we've got the software side covered. What about the hardware? What kind of devices are we talking about here?
We're seeing advancements in specialized hardware designed for Edge AI, like the NVIDIA Jetson kit we discussed earlier. These devices pack a lot of processing power into a small, energy-efficient form factor, making them ideal for edge deployments.
So it's like having a miniature supercomputer at your fingertips.
You could say that. And then there are all the embedded devices, like smartphones and wearables, that are already equipped with powerful processors capable of handling these AI workloads.
So we've got the software, the hardware. What about the tools and platforms that are making edge AI development accessible to a wider audience? Is this something only expert coders can do?
That's where things get really interesting. There are several open source frameworks and platforms emerging that are specifically designed for edge AI development. And they're making it easier than ever for people without extensive coding experience to get involved.
I'm curious to hear more about these platforms. What are some examples?
One popular example is TensorFlow Lite, a lightweight version of Google's TensorFlow framework optimized for mobile and embedded devices. It's designed to be fast, efficient, and compatible with a wide range of hardware platforms. Plus, it supports a variety of AI models, from image classification to natural language processing.
So you could use it to build anything from a smart security camera that can recognize faces to a language translation app that works offline, all running on a tiny device.
Exactly. And then there's another framework called PyTorch Mobile, which is similar to TensorFlow Lite, but specifically designed for deploying PyTorch models on mobile and edge devices.
Okay, so we've got TensorFlow Lite and PyTorch Mobile. Any others that stand out?
Definitely. There's a platform called Edge Impulse that's gaining a lot of traction. It provides a user-friendly interface and a suite of tools for developing and deploying machine learning models on edge devices, even if you don't have a deep understanding of coding.
So you're telling me that even someone like me, who wouldn't know a neural network from a network of neurons, could potentially build their own AI-powered gadget with this platform?
That's the idea. Platforms like Edge Impulse are lowering the barriers to entry, making AI development accessible to a much broader audience. It's truly empowering.
Okay. This is starting to feel like something out of a sci-fi movie. Everyone building their own AI-powered devices. But it's also incredibly exciting to see how accessible this technology is becoming.
It is exciting, and it's not just about individual creators. We're seeing entire industries being transformed by Edge AI. Think about manufacturing, for example. Edge AI is being used to optimize production lines, detect defects in real time, and even predict equipment failures before they happen.
Wow, that's taken efficiency to a whole new level. What other industries are being impacted?
Healthcare is another great example. Edge AI is powering wearable devices that can monitor vital signs, diagnose conditions, and even provide personalized treatment recommendations.
It's like having a personal doctor on your wrist, constantly monitoring your health and providing insights.
The potential is huge. But of course, there are challenges to consider as well. One of the biggest is dealing with the limitations of these edge devices. They typically have less processing power and memory compared to cloud servers. So optimizing models for efficiency is crucial.
Right, it's like trying to cram a supercomputer's worth of processing power into a tiny little chip. That must be a tricky balancing act.
Exactly. And then there's the need for robust connectivity and infrastructure to support this growing number of edge devices. As we move more AI processing to the edge, we need to ensure that these devices can communicate effectively and reliably.
It's like building a whole new network for AI to thrive on. What other challenges come to mind?
Well, data security is a major concern. As AI becomes more integrated into our lives, protecting sensitive data becomes even more critical, especially when processing happens on devices that might be more vulnerable to attacks.
So it's a balancing act between harnessing the power of edge AI while also ensuring that data is protected and used responsibly.
Precisely. And then there's the ongoing challenge of developing AI models that are not only efficient and accurate, but also fair, unbiased, and transparent in their decision-making processes. We don't want to simply replicate existing biases in our society within these powerful new technologies.
Those are all important points to consider. It's clear that there are challenges to overcome, but it sounds like the potential benefits of edge AI are worth the effort.
Absolutely. The ability to bring AI closer to the user, to empower individuals and communities, to transform industries and address these real-world problems. It's a vision worth striving for.
I couldn't agree more. It's been incredible to explore the world of socially impactful AI projects and the exciting developments happening at the edge. What are your final thoughts as we wrap up this deep dive?
Yeah, it really is mind-blowing to think about how far we've come, from these massive cloud-based models to, the idea of AI running on these tiny devices at the edge.
Yeah, it feels like we're at the start of something completely new, where AI is just a part of everyday life.
It's a real paradigm shift.
Yeah.
AI is going from, a specialized field to a ubiquitous technology. And that's exciting. But it comes with, both opportunities and some serious considerations.
We've been talking about the benefits all this time, democratizing technology and improving healthcare and tackling global challenges. But, we keep saying these powerful tools are becoming more widespread. So it makes you think, what about the downsides? What could go wrong?
That's the million-dollar question. Whenever we talk about powerful technologies becoming more accessible, we have to think about unintended consequences. It's about being proactive and responsible in our approach to AI.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What are some of the concerns that come to mind when we think about AI being everywhere?
Well, one concern is misuse. As these AI tools become more readily available, it's essential to consider how they could be used for malicious purposes, whether that's creating, convincing deepfakes, or automating harmful tasks, or amplifying those societal biases that we already have.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about who's using it.
Yeah.
And what they're using it for. Sounds like we need some safeguards to make sure AI doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Absolutely. Robust security measures.
Yeah.
Ethical guidelines. Regulations. These are all crucial to make sure AI is developed and deployed responsibly. It's a balancing act, Yeah. Fostering innovation, but also mitigating the potential risks.
Makes sense. What other concerns are there?
Well, another big one is the impact on the workforce. As AI systems become more capable, there are valid concerns about job displacement and, the need for retraining, adaptation. It's crucial to be proactive about these challenges to make sure the transition is just as AI reshapes the job market.
So we have to stop AI from being used for harm. But we also have to manage the social and economic impact. Seems complicated.
It is complex, but it's a conversation we need to be having. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something we shape through discussion and responsible development and policy making.
Yeah, it's a good point. We're not just along for the ride. We can actually shape how things go.
Exactly. The choices we make today will determine the trajectory of AI and its impact on society. It's our responsibility to make sure AI benefits humanity, not make existing problems worse or create new ones.
Well said. This has been a fascinating deep dive. From amazing projects to the ethical side of things, I feel like I have a much better understanding now.
It's been great discussing these topics with you. The AI landscape is always changing. It's crucial to stay informed, to be a part of shaping this technology.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, as AI becomes more a part of our lives, it's more important than ever to ask the tough questions, have those important conversations, and advocate for responsible AI development. The future of AI isn't something that just happens. It's something we create together.
Well put. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of socially impactful AI.